It's our last video of the year. Let's make it a good one. I want you to take a minute and process, how do you feel about this being the last video? My guess is there's a couple different reactions going on right now. This is the first reaction I'm envisioning. Whoa, last video, yeah! So sick of these are so boring, I can't wait to have summer and not have to do my math homework again. Reaction 2. Aw. Oh well. Reaction 3. Well, I feel sad about it. I'm gonna miss you guys. You guys were awesome, and this has been a crazy year, and you've done so well, and I'm so proud of you. Okay, we should probably get to math. So to wrap up our year and to wrap up geometry, we are going to talk about nets and surface area today. So if you look at the second to last page in your math notebook, there is a little section that talks about 3D shapes, and it says that nets is a 2D picture of a 3D shape. So to sum it up, if this is a 3D shape, three-dimensional shape, a net is me flattening it out, that 3D shape. So if I were to fold a net up, it would make an enclosed three-dimensional shape. But the main purpose of nets is to help us find surface area, which is the main thing we're going to talk about today. So surface area wants to know how much area is on the outside of this shape. If I wanted to wrap a present, how much wrapping paper would I need? That's surface area. It wants to know the area of the surface of the shape. Not the volume, not what's inside, but the surface. How much is on the outside? Think, like wrapping a present. Wrapping a present, surface area. Okay, I'm done with you. You've served your purpose. Okay, so look at this picture here. Do you notice it's a three-dimensional shape? It looks like it's popping out from the page. That means it's three-dimensional. So we want to find the surface area of this three-dimensional shape. One way to do that would be to use the net and kind of treat it like a composite shape, which we know how to find the area of a composite shape. But sometimes surface area gets weird and nets get weird because there's a lot of things we have to label. Therefore, if you do not feel like drawing a net, then you can just use the shape and your brain and figure it out. But you still gotta use your labels. You still gotta use showing your work. Okay? I don't know what accent this is. I don't know what's happening. You gotta be extra careful when you're finding the surface area because looking at the shape, yes, it's made up of triangles and rectangles, but we are actually gonna have to find the area of 4 different shapes because those 3 rectangles are all different. So you have to be careful. So I'm gonna kind of organize my work here. I'm gonna say the triangle, we gotta find the area of the triangle. Then we have to find the area of rectangle 1, rectangle 2, and rectangle 3. So you'll see kind of pictures pop up of what sides I'm talking about. Doesn't really matter if you number them differently, but as long as they're labeled or outlined or something in a color, I think that's really, really, really helpful. Okay? So I started by just writing all my formulas down. You know this. The first line of your work should always be the formulas. Always be the formulas. I see a lot of you not doing that in your work, and guess what? You're not going to do it on your quiz, and then you're going to get it wrong, and I'm going to be like, well, where's your formula? Do what I'm asking you to do, okay? All right, so the base of the triangle, we can say either 4 or 3, but I'm going to say 4. And then the height is 3 because 4 and 3 make a right angle with each other, or a 90-degree angle with each other. So that's why we know that these are the 2 side lengths that we're using for the triangle. So then I would say, well, 4 times 3 is 12, divided by 2 is 6. So 6, and then our unit here is centimeters squared because we're still talking about area. So our first area of the triangle is 6 centimeters squared. Then let's find the area of our first rectangle. Okay, so it doesn't really matter which rectangle you choose. I'm going to choose the one like on the outside that's facing us. You can see in the picture which one I'm doing, but it doesn't technically matter which one you're doing as long as they are labeled in some sense and I can follow it when I'm going through your work. So the base and the height of this particular triangle is 8 and 3. So 8 times 3 is 24 centimeters squared. All right, the third triangle, or the second rectangle, third shape that we're doing, is the one that's like on the big slant. So we are going to say A equals base. The base of this one is 8. The base stays the same. And the height of this one is 5, because notice that big long slant, actually it's called our hypotenuse of our triangle, is going to be the side length 4, or the height of this rectangle. So 8 times 5 is 40, so 40 square centimeters. All right, and then the last rectangle is this pink one. I'm calling it the bottom, whatever. So the area of the rectangle that's on the bottom would be 8 times 4. So the area of that would be 32 centimeters squared. Okay, so notice how all 3 of those rectangles have different area. They all have the same side length of 8, but that height is what's changing, 3, 5, and 4. And that's because our triangle had 3 different side lengths, 4, 3, and 5. So just make sure that you're being really careful. When in doubt, if you don't know if 2 sides are the same, do it separately, because you can always add them together at the end, no big deal. Okay, so this is what your work should look like so far. All right, I caught a mistake that I made when I was doing the surface area when I went back and watched the video, so that's why some of my work is erased. But the next step is now to find our surface area. So remember, don't forget that we had 2 of these triangles because there was a triangle on each side. So that's why I messed up when I did this. So when you are starting, it might be helpful to write how many of each shape you have at the top. Okay, make sure like a little +2 or something, because we need 2 of these, because there are 2 sides that have an area of 6. So 6 plus 6 plus 24 plus 40 plus 32. When I add up all of these shapes, I will then have my total surface area. SA stands for surface area. So 6 plus 6 is 12, plus 24 is 36, plus 40 is 76, plus 32 is 108 centimeters squared. So our total area, surface area, is 108 centimeters squared. And we have 2 6s because there were 2 triangles and then 1 of each of the rectangles. Okay, that's how we found our surface area. Triangle plus rectangle 1 plus rectangle 2 plus rectangle 3. Yeah? Okay.
Don't stop me, 'cause I'm having a good time.
I'm having a good time. I don't know about you, but yeah, let's keep going. One more. This time we are going to use a net. And we're going to use a net because look, we were given a net. Okay, so if you were given a net, use a net. I'm just saying you don't have to make a net. But anyway, if I folded this net up, it would make a 3D square pyramid because there's a square on the bottom. So we're given a net of a square pyramid here, and we need to find the surface area of this shape. So are these 4 triangles the same? How do we know? They are the same because all 4 triangles have the same base and they have the same height. And we know that because these were not labeled with different heights. Also, if they're going up to one tip, it wouldn't make sense for there to be different heights. So unless it is labeled with different heights, you know that they are the same height. Okay? So we know that all the triangles are the same shape. So convenient. I love it when that happens. Okay, so I wrote the area formula down for the triangle. A equals base times height divided by 2. So now let's plug in some numbers. A equals base of 4, because both of these side lengths are 4. Doesn't matter which one we're picking, but base of 4. Now what is the height? The height and the base make a 90-degree angle with each other. So that would make 6 the height, not 5. 5's the side length, 6 is the height, divided by 2. Well, 4 times 6 is 24. 24 divided by 2 is 12. So that means that our area is 12 squared centimeters for the triangle. Now we need to find the area of the square that's in the middle. So the square in the middle is area equals base times height. And we know the base is 4, because it says, and the height is 4. So that would make the area 16 centimeters for the square in the middle. Last step is then to find our surface area. So we're going to say SA equals, well, we're going to have to do how many triangles? 4 triangles. 4 triangles plus the rectangle. Well, that does not look like a rectangle. Plus the rectangle. Or we could also multiply this by 4 because we know there are 4 triangles. So I could just multiply 12 by 4, or I could add 12 plus 12 plus 12 plus 12. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to do 12 times 4. 12 times 4 is 48. So 48 plus our rectangle of 16. So 48 plus 16 is 64 centimeters squared. Oops, SA, not A, SA. So our answer is 64 centimeters squared because we had 4 triangles. So if each one of these was 12, 12, 12, 12, and then this one was 16, when we add up all of those, we would get 64 as our answer. Okay? So that's how you would use a net. It is faster to use a net, I think so, but nets can be really tricky to draw and time-consuming to draw. So if you're given just a 3D shape without a net, if you wanted to use a net, you can. I'm just telling you that you don't have to. You can also just use the shape and go from there. Okay? But neat, organized, that is key. Okay, that's all I got for you guys. I feel really sad about this, but I'm going to sign off. Goodbye. I love you.